Hello again, and this is Sean Markinet for day number 3, building your successful morning routine. And again, my argument is that most successful people have routines in their life, and they implement them on a regular basis so they can improve their level of success no matter what it is that they want to do. So, day number 1, we talked about why happiness is so important, and I shared with you 2 tools to boost your happiness. And pretty quickly, actually, when you use those tools, you can boost your level of happiness instantly almost. So check out day number 1. Day number 2 was how to set goals. So once you're happy, what are you going to do with that feeling? We need to set some goals, and I shared with you the SMART acronym. So hopefully you've set at least one goal, because today what we're going to do is use the goal that you set in day number 2 to what's called future pace, or guided imagery, or there's a million different ways to think about it. But here's the research. In the context of sport, researchers took novice basketball players and taught them how to shoot a free throw. So they had a couple different groups. They had groups that practiced physically. They had groups that practiced physically and mentally, insofar as they imagined themselves over and over again being successful at shooting a free throw. And then they had a group that did not practice at all. Now it turns out that the most successful group were the people that did the physical practice and the imagery, or the imagining them being successful. So what that means is you have to do stuff in real life, but when you pair the doing stuff with imagining your own success, that brings you the highest chance of accomplishing your goal or being successful, however you want to define that. So, day number 3 is all about pacing the future. What do you want 2 years from now? What do you want 3 years from now? What was the goal that you set up on day number 2? How do you want that to carry out over time? So I'm going to walk you through a process where we start by imagining that you are already successful at accomplishing this goal. And this morning routine was helping you get there. So the question is, and you can do it now if you want to, you can pause this, you can go to day number 2, create a goal with that SMART acronym, and then come back and do this process with me. And if you want to now, you can just set a goal too of, I want to be more successful at my job. You can keep it vague right now, but it's very important actually in going forward to make your goals successful. If you don't want to jump back, that's okay. You can pause this and make a vague goal of wanting to be better, or wanting more friends in my life, or, right? You can do that for now, but do definitely set what I call SMART goals. And I know how that sounds. I know you're smart. I get it. That's just the acronym. Anyway, day number 2 talks all about that. This is day 3. We're going to do some future pacing. So if you're in your car driving right now, do not close your eyes. If you're not driving, feel free to close your eyes if you can. And this is just a very simple technique that you can use on a regular basis to future pace, to see what it's going to be like when you have achieved your goals. Now what's funny is, and I'm going to sound crazy here, you're literally going to program into your mind that you've already achieved success. And how it works is that your mind is going to work backward from here to fill in the gaps, because here's where you are and here's where you want to end up. So the question is, how did you get there? And again, if you want to right now, you can close your eyes. Actually, if you guys are not following Gary Vaynerchuk, I know he's kind of controversial in how he speaks, but check him out because he's very interesting and he talks a lot about this. Again, Gary Vaynerchuk. On Instagram, he's Gary V, and Twitter, Gary V as well, I believe. So check him out because he talks a lot about engineering backward your success. That's exactly what I'm talking about right now, and it's based on research. So instead of me talking about it, let's actually do it. So go ahead and close your eyes if you can. If you're driving a car, please keep your eyes open, but you can still follow along with this, and it's actually pretty cool. So this is day number 3 of your success routine. We've done happiness, we did goal setting, and now we're doing future pacing. Okay, so again, close your eyes if you can. And I want you to just simply imagine 1 year from now, having achieved the goal that you set, for yourself. And whatever goal that is, I want you to imagine that you've achieved it. And first of all, I want you to experience how you feel. How do you feel when you know that you've achieved your goal? How does that make you feel? And how do you notice those feelings of achievement? So just use your imagination. If you're having trouble right now, the question is, what could it be like? What would you feel like if you achieved your goal? What would it be like? Now we want to wrap into this experience more of your senses so that it becomes real. So the question is now, not just what you feel, but what do you hear? What are the people around you a year from now saying when you achieved your goal? What are they saying to you? What are they saying to themselves about you as they notice you achieving your goal? What are other sounds that you notice when you know that you've achieved your goal? What does it sound like for you? What does your success sound like? Now, because we all have dominant senses, some of us are dominant feelers, some of us are dominant in the auditory component or hearing, and others of us, a lot of us actually, are dominant in seeing. So the next question is, what do you see a year from now when you're super successful and you've accomplished your goal, however you define it? What do you see? What's different in your life when you look around? If you're closing your eyes, imagine whatever it is that you've achieved. Imagine it in great detail. What do you see? What do you notice in general? And this will allow you to associate or get connected to your strongest sense. What do you notice a year from now when you've achieved your goal? How you're noticing it doesn't matter. What do you notice? Now I want you to imagine as you continue to set goals for yourself, because the truth is, once we achieve goals, we again want that feeling, that experience of going toward the achievement. Now it's been a year from now and you've achieved whatever goal you've set for yourself. Now imagine 2 years from now. And rapidly you can go through the different senses. What do you hear? What do you feel when you continue to achieve the goals that you've set for yourself? Whatever it is. What do you hear? What do you feel? What do you see? And choose the one that's most powerful for you. Just make sure that you have a strong sense of 2 years from now, you've achieved your goal and now multiple goals. What do you notice? What do you notice? Now take it out 3 years from now. Fast forward. What do you notice now, having set even more goals and achieving more goals, that you know you have what it takes to persist because it's been 3 years? What do you notice now when you achieve your goals? Who are you? Who are the people around you in your life? What do they say? How do they experience you? How do you experience them? What do you notice when you've achieved your goals 3 years from now? Now push it out 5 years from now. What do you notice 5 years from now when you've achieved your goals? And you've set even more larger goals, more difficult goals, goals that you thought you would never have set for yourself, and yet somehow you're achieving them. What do you notice? How do you feel? What do you see? And what do you hear when you achieve these massive goals and you are ultimately successful? I'm smiling right now because this is a really cool process. I love this. It's incredibly optimistic, and it helps us break down the barriers that we have in our mind that can hold us back from simply attempting to accomplish these goals. The truth is, we can accomplish way more than we ever believe that we can. So this process will help you understand how to believe that you can accomplish whatever goal, hopefully if it's reasonable, in your life right now, as long as you set it and work toward it over time and you're adjustable. It sounds cliche. I get it. You can achieve so much. It's so true. So if you want to, you can actually do what I would consider the opposite of this process. For some people, they find it helpful to understand a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, what it's like in their life if they don't achieve their goals. So that would be the painful side of things. I just walked you through the pleasurable side of things. And for now, if you want to do that, I actually have a recording on SoundCloud of that process. And I believe it was the second or third thing I ever posted ever on SoundCloud. So scroll all the way back there. And I walked through the positive and the negative. I think for now, I'll just leave it super positive so you can feel really, really good about this process. Because this process is all about uncumbering the barriers that live in our mind. And society or people or have put these there for us, right? So this is another argument as to why I think and I believe that taking an active role in managing your mind is crucial to your success, because then you take control over your own process. In life, there's many things that come our way. There's luck, there's how we were born, where we were born. There's some things that we cannot control. You can control your mind. And I know that's not a popular thing to say. You can control how you feel and you can control how you think. I've just shown you 3 to 4 different ways of doing that. And I hope you'll agree. And if you disagree, that's okay. Let me know why, because I'm curious and I'm very open to that discussion. But my core belief, and by the way, when I was 19, I used these tools to overcome social anxiety. Social anxiety is just a way that you think. You think that people are judging you constantly, and it's not the case. Whether it's the case or not, it doesn't matter. I used these tools to overcome my own thinking so that I could create the thoughts, the feelings, and the actions in my life that I want. I'm not saying it's a perfect process, and I'm always striving to get better and better. But that is where this all comes from. That's my motivation. I know it works 100%. And if you try it in your life, it will work too. By the way, that thoughts leading to feelings, leading to actions thing, that comes from cognitive behavioral psychology. And you can look that stuff up on Google. It's super fascinating, but that's the triage of how we create actions in our life. So if you want more information about that, type in cognitive behavioral psychology into Google and you'll see that process. And then hopefully, like me, you can take that belief on yourself as you start to implement it into your life. So just a kind of quick tip there. Anyway, use this process as often as you want to future pace, to understand that barriers in your mind might just be a thought. Now, thoughts happen kind of regardless, and we're not always in control or know where they come from, but the truth is, once we become aware of them, we can then overcome them. If they're thoughts that we don't want to believe, if we would rather believe other thoughts that are more empowering, this is a process to do that, this future pacing. So I hope you found it hugely valuable, because I use it every day in my own life too. And I want to know what your experience is. Please leave comments, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, wherever, and I'm happy to give any input that I can to you. And thank you. Most of all, thank you for your time. It's huge. Also, if you found it valuable and you want to, please do share this with other people, because the more this gets out there, the more we can debunk ideas that we can't control our thoughts. It's not true. It's simply not true. It's not what I believe to be true, and it's not what I've experienced in my own life. So share it with anybody that you think would like this information, or just in general, put it on your page, whatever. And if you do so, thank you. That's huge. And I appreciate you and your time. Thank you so much. Now, last question. Am I going to see you tomorrow for day number 4? Again, we have 2 more tools left to implement into your daily routine. And again, even if you're only using one of these techniques, it's going to explode your own level of success. And that's my true belief, that these tools are super, super helpful and effective. If they're not, please let me know. And maybe there's a way that I can help making them more effective for you. Or we can just create a dialogue as to what your beliefs are around this stuff. So thanks in advance, and appreciate your time again. Thank you.